Look at the air in this facility. Massive manufacturing operations generate a steady rain of airborne particulate and abrasive dust that settles over million-dollar machinery. In a standard office building, cleaning is primarily about basic hygiene and looking presentable. Out on the manufacturing floor, those priorities shift. Removing this heavy buildup maintains safety compliance, protects the local environment, and keeps the production line moving without interruption. Treating a heavy industrial site like a large retail space creates a massive operational liability that most managers only discover after a failure occurs. This matrix compares commercial upkeep against industrial requirements. On the right, industrial zones demand highly specialized equipment. In Australia, the Work Health and Safety Regulation creates a rigid legal barrier separating standard janitorial work from regulated site maintenance. Because of these regulations, the cost of a project scales directly with the severity of the hazard. Managing standard floor contamination is relatively straightforward, but introducing hazardous chemical spills adds layers of necessary regulatory complexity. The law classifies this work as a high-risk activity. Facility managers carry direct, personal legal accountability for ensuring hazards are removed safely and correctly. To handle embedded chemical spills and oil residue, crews deploy heavy-duty ride-on scrubbers. These machines process thousands of square meters in a single shift to strip away slick compounds that cause serious workplace injuries. For exterior logistics hubs and weathered concrete structures, extreme high-pressure systems calibrated to over 4,000 psi are necessary to physically cut through years of accumulated industrial grime. Then there are confined spaces, like processing tanks and silos. Entering these zones requires strict hazard identification, continuous atmospheric testing to monitor oxygen levels, and specialized breathing apparatus. Standard cleaning tools are mathematically and physically incapable of breaching this level of industrial-grade contamination. One of the most severe risks in warehousing is combustible dust. Materials like grain, polymers, or metal shavings pose an extreme fire hazard, and managing them is heavily regulated under the Australian standard AS/NZS 4745. This diagram shows an isometric view of a warehouse interior to illustrate the physical mechanism. Notice how microscopic dust particles accumulate slowly on the high rafters. If disturbed, they disperse into a dense cloud throughout the space. When suspended in the air like this, a single spark can trigger a highly volatile explosion. This is why untrained maintenance is dangerous here. Hitting those rafters with compressed air physically creates the exact atmospheric conditions needed for an explosion. The required mitigation strategy is scheduled, systematic extraction using HEPA-filtered industrial vacuums. These systems contain the particles immediately, neutralizing the threat before the dust can become airborne. Ignoring the physics of these microscopic particles leads to catastrophic destruction of the entire facility. Neutralizing these threats safely requires extreme performance specifications. Crews use industrial vacuums operating at over 500 liters per minute, utilizing advanced filtration to capture particles as small as 0.3 microns. Stripping away heavy hydraulic fluids and processing residues requires chemically complex degreasing agents designed to break down industrial oils without corroding the underlying machinery. But processing those chemicals introduces another legal barrier. Under the EPA Protection of Environment Operations Act 1997, flushing industrial contaminants down a standard drain is strictly prohibited. Wastewater must be contained and treated according to strict licensing conditions. Utilizing specialized extraction equipment and officially approved chemicals effectively transfers environmental liability off the facility manager's shoulders. This graph tracks incidents against cleaning frequency. Data shows systematic cleaning drives incident rates down by 40%. There is also a mechanical benefit. Removing abrasive dust and oil residue extends machinery bearing life by up to 20%. An entire year of scheduled maintenance often costs less than a single day of unplanned downtime or a failed compliance audit. For low-risk routine floor sweeping, maintaining an in-house cleaning staff is often sufficient. But when a facility involves working at heights, entering confined spaces, or navigating environmental regulations, outsourcing to certified professionals is required. This pricing table outlines the baseline cost metrics. Routine floor scrubbing typically costs between $400 and $800 per 1,000 square meters. However, high-risk projects like confined space entry elevate those costs to anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000. Standard warehouses usually require a professional deep clean every quarter. facilities managing severe combustible dust hazards need targeted extraction much more frequently. Systematic hazard removal provides the physical foundation for an uninterrupted production cycle. Proactive cleaning ensures an industrial operation remains online and compliant.